Okay, in the today's session, we are going to see XPath access as part of locators. So far we have discussed different type of locators like basic locators like ID, name, and link text, partial link text, CSS selector. And also we have seen different options available in XPath and how to write an XPath, how to generate XPath, and different type of XPaths and all. And today we are going to discuss about XPath access. So this is something different than normal XPath. Okay, so let us see what is XPath access and how we can use this to locating the elements. So first let us see the definition. What is XPath access? So XPath accesses are those access that are used to search for the multiple nodes in the XML document from the current node context. And these methods are mainly used when the element is not identified with the help of ID, name, class name, linked test, CSS selector, and so on. So this is a basically called as XPath access. So in XPath itself, we have something called access. What is an access means? So for example, let us write a small node here. So for example, let's say I have some node here and this is one node or one tag, and inside this there is one more node, and here I have one more node, right? So here we can navigate one node to another node like this. Suppose I want to locate this element, I can locate this element directly by using some other node. That means I can traverse throughout the DOM by using this XPath access. Suppose I want to locate this element, I can locate this element from here or from here or from here. So from anywhere from the DOM, I can locate this element. So this is basically called access. Access means in all the directions. So whichever direction you want to go to navigate, and you can go to that direction, you can navigate and locate that element. So this is basically called as access. And different type of accesses are provided by XPath. So what are those kind of accesses? Now we will discuss. So here there are, I'm just sharing the presentation, just a moment. So there are different accesses provided by XPath. So self, parent, child, ancestor, descendant, following sibling, preceding, and preceding sibling. So these are called as a XPath accesses. So by using these XPath accesses, we can navigate throughout the DOM and we can find out whichever element we want to identify on the DOM. So self, parent, child, and ancestor, descendant, following sibling, preceding sibling. So these are the things which we need to understand. So first let us try to understand the terminology. So what is self? What is parent node? What is a child node? What is ancestor node? So once we understood this terminology, then we will see how we can use this XPath access along with the XPath by seeing some examples. All right, so now let me just share a small presentation and just look at this picture. And by using this picture, we can understand what exactly the x-axis are. And if you see here, let us start from one node. Okay, so here, uh, here this is my self node. Okay, so let us start from this node, and this is also one element. So every node is representing one element. Let's say 1 2 3 4. So I have given some numbering here, right? So these these numbers or nodes are representing some element. Okay, so let us start from the self node, guys. So this is a self. Okay, from this we are trying to access different kinds of elements, all the elements on the DOM by using accesses. So here, let us start from the self. So what is parent means? So whatever the node here, immediate parent. So the 3 is a parent of the self node. Self is nothing but a node, an element. From that element, whichever element is little bit up. So here, this is called as a parent element. And on top of parent element, we have a one more element called ancestor. So ancestor in the sense parents element, parent element. That is called as an ancestor. So if I start from this particular node, 3 is a parent of self, and 1 is an ancestor of self. Ancestor means parent, like say grandfather or grandmother, like this. So from the self, parent is called ancestor. So 1 is a ancestor of self, not for 3. Okay. So for the self node, 3 is a parent, 1 is ancestor. Similarly, if you just come here, for the self, parent and ancestor. So from the self, what are the child nodes we have? So whatever the following, so you can say 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. So these are all comes under child nodes of self, because all these elements are derived from this self node or self tag. So 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. These are all comes under child nodes of self node. And what is the descendant node? Descendant node is nothing but childs and child. So for example, these are all the childs, right? From 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And for this child, there is one more child. So this is called as a descendant. That means a grandchild. We can say grandchild for the self node. We are starting from here, okay? And similarly, 10 is also child of self. So child 10. So for the 10 again, 14, 15 are the grandchild. So this is also descendants. And similarly here, for the self node, 13 is also child node. For 13, 17, 18 are there. So these are all grandchilds. So comes under descendant. So for the self node, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are the child nodes. And rest of them all are comes under descent node, like 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 are comes under the descendant nodes. Okay, parent, above the parent we have an ancestor, and for the self there is a child node, and below the child node whatever is there, so they are comes under the descendants. It is very simple, guys. So this is a node I have. So this is a parent. On top of parent, whatever we have, that is called as an ancestor. And this is a node. And from this, whatever the node we have, this is called as a child node. And in the child node, whatever the node is following here, this is called as a descendant. Okay. So these are the three things: ancestor, parent, child, and descendants. Now let us discuss about preceding and following. So what is preceding and following means? So whatever the element we have, self is my element. So first let us see following element. So following means here the self element we have, and parallelly whatever node we have for the self. So for the self node, so 7 and 8 is there. So these are all following nodes. And for the self, these are all preceding nodes, following nodes and preceding nodes. And if I just look at here, the description of this, child is nothing but traverse all child elements of the current HTML tag. Parent means traverse parent element of the current HTML tag. So here we have seen, so child, so for the self node, this is a child and this is a parent. Now following means traverse all element that comes after the current tag, that comes after the current tag. So what is the current tag here? Self is a current tag. After the current tag, what are the tags are coming here? These are all following nodes. And again, inside the following nodes, there are following siblings. So what are the following nodes means? Here 4, 7, 8 are the following nodes. Inside the following nodes, there are certain nodes which are siblings. So these are parallelly created along with the self node. So 7 and 8 are comes under the following siblings. And 4, 7, 8 are the following nodes. Inside the following nodes, we have a following sibling. So 7 and 8 are parallelly coming along with the self. So these are the following sibling. So following means traverse all element that comes after the current tag. Inside the following, we have a following sibling. 7 from the traverse from current HTML tag to next sibling HTML node. So that means inside the following itself, we can find following siblings. So 7, 8 are the following siblings. Similarly, preceding. So preceding means traverse all nodes that comes before the current HTML tag. So this is a basic difference between following and preceding. In the following, traverse all element that comes after the current tag, but in the preceding comes before the current HTML tag. So that means from this self node, if I start with the self node, these are the preceding nodes, like 2, 5, 6 are the preceding nodes, and here these are the following nodes. And inside the preceding nodes, we can find preceding sibling nodes. So just like this, inside the following nodes, we can find following sibling. Similarly, in the preceding nodes, we can find preceding sibling. Let's say 5 and 6 are the preceding sibling. So for the self node, so these comes before self, and these following comes after self. So it will be like this. Let's say here I have a self node. Let us say I have a self node here. So following means below part, preceding means the upper part. So whatever the elements we have here, this is all preceding nodes, and here this is the following nodes. And inside the following nodes, we can find following siblings, and inside the preceding nodes, we can find the preceding siblings. Okay, so this is the exact structure. In the picture, I have just mentioned in the parallelly, but this is the actual structure we have to follow in the HTML. Okay, so this is all about relationship of nodes. We can say x-axis, parent, child, ancestor, and descendant. This is one category. And preceding and following. And inside the preceding, we have a preceding sibling. Inside the following, we have a following sibling. Okay, so these are all called x-axis. So by using these x-axes, we can navigate throughout the DOM. Whichever element you want to locate, we can simply identify that. Okay, so whatever the node you can just start, so that is a self node. Suppose if I start from 1, this is a self node. If I start from 11, so that is a self node. So based on one node, we can navigate throughout all the nodes. So you don't need to specially identify the self node. So from where you are starting, so that is called as a self node. Okay, so for example, let us say I have something called 11. So when I start from here, so here the self, this is become the parent and 16 become the child. Okay, so wherever you have starting the node from there, that is we can consider as a self node, right? So these are all called x-axis. Now by using this x-axis, how we can locate the elements. So now we'll see by using examples. So here in the table, so I have mentioned what is the purpose of this x-axis and how to return the syntax. So the syntax is like this. So here this is actually self node. So this x path is representing the self node, and whichever node you are starting from, you can specify that. And then followed by child is a keyword, and here parent is a keyword, and following is a keyword, preceding, following sibling, preceding sibling, and ancestor and descendant. So these are the keywords which you have to use, and following by tag name along with attributes also we can specify. So these are the different syntaxes which we can use while using XPath access. Okay, so now we'll see a few examples how we can use this XPath access to locate a different type of elements. Okay, now let me just take let's go to Eclipse, and now I'll create one new class, and here I'll say locators. I'll say locators demo 4 we already seen, so 5 underscore XPath access. Now let's take a main method and then finish. Okay, so now I created a new class. So now here let us start using XPath access. So for that I'm just taking one application URL, and this is my application URL. Okay, so in this you can just look at here, there is small table and there are so many companies and group and other details are available. Now let us see how we can access the element from this by using different XPath access. Okay, let's say let us start from any node here. So let us consider that as a self node. Okay, now for that, first of all, let me just launch my browser and application URL. I'll say system dot out dot println, sorry, system dot set property, system dot set property, and here we have to specify the class of the browser. So that is WebDriver dot, I'm launching my Chrome browser, I'll say Chrome dot WebDriver, and here we have to pass a value that is your location of your driver. So this is a location of my driver, and then I'll create WebDriver object, WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so then import this WebDriver interface and then import this Chrome driver class. So now by using this driver, I'm trying to launch my application. So get, and here I'll specify this URL, right? So this will open up the application, and then I'll try to maximize the page. I'll say driver.manage.window.maximize. So this will maximize the page. Okay. All right. So now let us see how we can use one by one all the x-axis. So first let us start with the self, then we'll go for parent, child, ancestor, and so on. So first let us see the self. So self means we can start from any node. So let us say this data is a dynamic, guys. Always you cannot see the same order. So let us take one node from this application. So let us say, let me just take something on the node 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now I can take one small one, or else you can just take this India tourism DE. Okay, so let us take this element, which is consider this as a self node. Okay, so let us inspect this element, and this is most important, guys. On the understanding the DOM is very important, so please focus on this. So I'm also using GrowPath to writing all XPath here, okay, to test XPath my own, whatever XPath I have written or own. So let us start with India tourism DE. Okay, this is the element I'm located here. So once you're located here, and just notice the HTML tag. So that is most important. So this is a self node. So what we have here, anchor tag we don't have any idea or name, whatever. And this is a link text we have. So this is a self node. Okay, so this is my self node. So first of all, let us capture this element by using XPath. So I'm just taking this relative XPath, and you can put it here, then press enter. This will able to locate the element. So I'll take this XPath of this element. Now I'm writing here driver.findElement by.xpath and specify the XPath. So this is just a normal XPath, guys, which will able to locate the element. Now I want to consider this as a self node. Okay, so for that I can do is I can say we need to add self keyword. How to add /self. So after adding XPath access, we need to specify double colons. Okay, double colons. So for every XPath access, this is syntax. So XPath access name colon colon, and then colon colon. What is a self node? This node itself you are considering as a self node, right? So we have to specify some attribute or some tag name of the element. So let's say tag name of the element is A. So when I press enter, which is locating the same element. So we can use this as an XPath along with the XPath access. So this is a self. So the same node, self is nothing but the node itself is called as a self node. So this XPath will able to locate the element. But apart from this, if I say self, the same node will be identified. Okay, and then you can say after locating this element, I want to get the text. So whatever is displaying here. So for that, I can use one method called getText method. So what this getText method will do is once you identify this element, so whatever is text is displayed inside this element will be captured by the getText method. And if I want to store that, I can create one string variable called text, and then I can print that value. System.out.println. I can just print this value here. Okay, so this is how we can use self keyword. So let us run this, and which will capture the text value and will print in the console window. So here is A is an anchor tag. So the element is starting with anchor tag, right? So that I have specified here. Okay, so something went wrong. So here you can see session not created, Chrome driver only supported Chrome version 33. So the driver version is not matching. So let me try to update the driver. Let me open the Chrome and check the version and about Google Chrome. And here you can just check 85 version I have. I think my driver is 83. So let me just download 85 version. So we can just go to Chrome driver download. So let's go to Chrome driver and let us try to download 85. So currently I have 85, so 85 I'm downloading, right? So just download this. Now we got the zip file. So go to the download zip file, extract. So now I got the driver. So I keep this driver in one common place. So I copied all the drivers in one place. I'll put this driver there. So let me just go to C drive under drivers, Chrome driver. So here this is my old driver. So I can just remove the driver and replace with the new driver. Okay, so I'll just delete this and then replace with the new driver. That's it. So that same location I mentioned here. So now let us try to execute one more time. Okay, still it is giving one error. So session not created. So same driver error, just a moment. Okay, so here the problem with this web driver. So here this spelling mistake, I just remove this. Okay, driver dot chrome dot web driver. Okay, so now let us see this. Here it is a web driver, guys. Here web driver dot chrome dot driver. So this is actual class. So webdriver dot chrome dot driver. So spelling mistake. So now my driver version is correct. So now let us try to execute webdriver dot chrome dot driver and the location of my driver. Run as Java application. Okay, so now it is launching my web page, opening this URL. Okay, so now we got some text here. So we just look at here. So we got the text from the node. Okay, so this is how we can just use self access. So self representing the same element, whatever element we are writing XPath for, the same element is representing. Self means the same itself. The node itself is called as a self. Okay, so now we'll see one more. So let us say parent, how to access a parent. So here again, let's look at this element. Let me just go to this website once again. Okay, so here we are starting from here. So if I just look at here, and this is a current node, self node. So what is the parent of this node? So A is derived from the TD. So just if you just go a little bit up, so this TD is a parent. Okay, so this TD is a parent. Right, so again above the TD there is a TR. So what is a TR? So TR is an ancestor of anchor tag. So this is a node. For this, TD is a parent node and it doesn't have any attribute, just says TD. And above this there is a TR. So TR is a again ancestor. So parent. Okay, so A is a self node. From this, TD is a parent node. For TD, TR is a ancestor node. So now I want to access this TD. So how to access this TD? So this is the parent node. So for that, what I can write is, we can just write like this. So I say driver.find element by.xpath, and first we need to specify the XPath of the element. So let us again go to ProPath, and this is the current element we are starting from. Okay, so here I want to access this parent element from this self element, self node. So simply I can say slash parent. Okay, and whenever use x-axis, we need to use colon. And what is the tag name of this parent? TD, right? So I can say TD. So when I press enter, this again locating the same element, because this anchor tag is present inside the TD. So TD representing table data. So again, this will give you the same text. Okay, because it is also representing the anchor tag. So it will give you the same value. So this is the way we can access the parent node. So I can just copy this and just again specify here as part of XPath, and then again I'm using get text, and this will also give you the same value because the TD itself doesn't have any value there. Inside the TD anchor tag, inside this we have a value, so this value will be captured. So basically the TD is representing the whole cell here. You can just look at here, and whatever the text is displayed inside, that will be captured. But here we need to notice how we can access the parent node from the self. So for A, TD is a parent. So now let us again capture that value in the text variable. So text variable we already created above. So I'll say text, and then I'm printing this value. Let's say system.out.println. I just print the values text, right? So this will also give the same value. Let us run this code. Okay, now it is launched my page. Okay, so now I think it is done. Close my page. So now we got the same value because in the parent tag we don't have any specific value, so it is written the same thing. So here and here also we got the same value. So if you want to access a parent, then we have to use this access like this: parent : TD is a next parent. Now I want to access the child element. So for example, again, A is my self node. Consider this as a self node. From this, I want to access the child nodes. So if I just look at here, do we have a child for this anchor tag? So anchor tag. So for this, do we have any child? So if you want to check, you can check like this. First, let us specify the XPath of the element. Okay, and then slash child : Suppose if you don't know the child tag here, it says simply star. So when I press enter, 0 element. Star representing all the nodes. So whatever the child nodes are available for this node, it will display here. But it is saying 0 elements. That means there is no child element for the self element. So there is no child element for that. Okay. So now what I will do is, first let us go with the ancestor. So here TD, so above the TD there is a TR, right? So TR is a ancestor. So first let us try to navigate till this ancestor, okay? And then from there are child nodes are available. So for TR, all the TDs are the child nodes, okay? So from where we have to navigate? From the current node. So this is my current node. From this I need to go to my ancestor node. Okay, so from this I need to go to ancestor node. What is the ancestor of A? TR is an ancestor. So from there I can navigate to multiple child nodes. So these are all the child nodes. So I want to count how many child nodes are there. So this is my requirement here. So currently we are here. We are in the child, we are in the self node. So first we need to go to ancestor. So how to go to ancestor here? So to go to ancestor, okay, so we have to use ancestor keyword. So here I'll say ancestor. Observe this, ancestor. So what is the tag name of ancestor? TR. So I'll say TR. Now press enter. Now we can see it is trying to locate TR. So TR means complete table row element. Okay. So this XPath is exactly matching with the ancestor node TR. So where are we now? So we are here. So now under TR, TD, and if I just compress this, all the TDs are the child nodes. So from this ancestor node TR, I'm going to access all the child nodes. How to access all the child nodes? So we can simply say again slash child and : and what are the tag names of child here? TD is a tag names. I'll say TD. Then you can see 5 elements are matching. So that means these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are all child elements of TR. So how we have navigated to TR? From the anchor tag by using ancestor. Okay. So now let us try to use this. So this XPath is matching with more than one element. See, these 5 elements are matching. So I want to count how many child tags are there inside the TR. So I can use this one along with the find elements method. because this XPath is matching with more than one element. So go back and here I'll say child element driver dot find element by dot XPath, and here specify the whole XPath. So first, this is a self node. From there we navigated to ancestor node because self node doesn't have any childs. So that's the reason we navigated to ancestor node. So from there we have captured all the childs. So this XPath is returning multiple elements, so that I should use find elements. And here I'm using a method called size. So that will count how many elements are written by this XPath. And then here I'll create or what I can do is, instead of using child, I can just store all the elements in a variable. So here this XPath is returning multiple elements. So if I want to store those elements, I'll say child elements, and what kind of variable it should be. So if you want to store a single web element, we can specify this variable as a web element. So we can say web element if it is a single web element. But this time this is returning multiple web elements. So this variable should be defined as list of web element. So this is a return type. Okay, list is a collection in Java, so which we have to import from java.util, and web element we have to include inside the Angular packets. So because this is returning multiple web elements, so we have to store all the web elements inside this variable. Now this variable contains all the child nodes. And if I want to count how many are there, you can say childs dot, I say size. And this will exactly give you how many childs. Now I can just print that value. System dot out dot println childs dot size. Okay, so this will give you child elements. I can just print something here. Number of child elements. Okay, number of child elements. So from which node? These are all child elements for this node. So first we have navigated to the ancestor node. From there we captured all the childs because our self node doesn't have any child nodes. Okay, so now let us execute. Okay, now my Chrome browser started. Okay, then I close my page. Right, so now we can see the child element, number of child elements are exactly 5. So this number is always not constant, guys, because this data is dynamically changing. So every time you will not get the same values. Okay, so this is how we can access the child elements. Okay, and it is written 5, but later if you run the script, you will get some other data. Okay, it is not always constant data. All right, so now we have seen how to use child element. So first we have went to ancestor. From there we can capture the child element. Okay, so now let us see how to use ancestor. So we have seen self, parent and child. So now I'm going to show you ancestor. Okay, so how we can access ancestor. So if I just look at this again, the same node, here I have, let me just remove this. Okay, so this is my self node. So from this, TD is my parent node, right? So if you want to go to ancestor, TR is my ancestor node. So parent to parent. So TD is a parent. For TD, TR is another parent. So TR is an ancestor node. So let us try to navigate till this ancestor node, and then I'll capture the text. Okay. So here inside the for TR, there is no specific text available. Inside the TR, there are multiple TDs are there. Okay. So if you want to use get text method for TR, what this will return? That will return the entire data which is available in this particular row. Okay, because TR tag contains all the TDs. In each and every TD, there is some values. So when I use get text method for TR, which will give you all the data which is available in this particular table row or TR. Okay, so from this node, from the self node, I'm traversing to ancestor. From there, I'm capturing the text value. So how to go to the ancestor node? So from the self node, first we need to write an XPath for the self node.
So let me just use this one, and this XPath is representing the self node. So this is the current node. So from this I need to go to ancestor. So that is a TR row. So that is an ancestor node. So I can specify slash ancestor colon. So what is the tag name of ancestor? TR. So I'll say TR. So this is locating one element. So that is entire row. So now I'm using this XPath, and I'll use getText method along with XPath so that it will give you the whole text which is present inside the table row. Now let us see here. So I can say driver.find element, and here again this XPath is written one element, so we can use find element. So here I'll say by dot XPath and specify the XPath dot, I'm using getText. And what this getText method will return? GetText method will return the whole text which is present inside the row. So that I'm capturing into the variable called text, because this variable we already created above. The data type is not needed to define once again. So data type is defined here itself. And then I'll just print the value of text. I say system dot out dot println. I just print the text here and then save. So what is the value we are expecting here from the ancestor? I'm getting the text. So ancestor means this XPath is representing the whole thing along with the ancestor. So we are going to get all the data from this row. So let us try to run this as a Java application. Okay, now my web page is launched. Okay, now we got the data, then close this. Okay, now we can see this is the data we got it. And if I just look at here, this is the same data. So India Tourism DE A 233.15, 256, 9.80. So this is the same data we captured from the ancestor node. Okay, so this is how we can use ancestor. So parent to parent is called ancestor. So here this is a self node, and for this TD is a parent. So for TD, TR is a parent. So TR is become the ancestor of the current node. Okay, and now we'll see one more access, that is called descendant. So just like ancestor, descent is it will go a little bit below. So what is a descendant means? So let us start with the same node. So here this is my self node, and from there, do we have any descendant for this? We don't have any descendant for this node. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to first go to the ancestor tag. So that is a TR from the current node. Let us navigate to the TR. So inside the TR, let us try to find what are the descendants are there. Okay, so then these are all comes under the descendants of TR again. So first let us go to parent tag. So TR. So what is the descendant means? So the descendant means the below one. So below tags. So let me just write XPath till here. So this is pointing to the current node. So that is your self node. Okay, and what is the descendant means? Descendant means child nodes and grandchild nodes. So descendant means child and grandchild. But for this particular node, we don't have any child or grandchild. So what you have to do now, we need to go to the ancestor, and from there we can access child and grandchild. Okay, so how to go to this ancestor tag now? Again, we have to say slash ancestor colon TR. So now we went to ancestor node. So from this ancestor node, these are all the child nodes. And descendants, we need to get the descendants, not the child nodes. I want to get the descendants. So these are all become the descendants. So inside the TD, we have also anchor tags. So this is also comes under the descendant. Descendant means child and a child. So TD is a child node. Inside this, there is one more child. So we'll get all the stuff here. So this is anchor tag. But rest of the TD tags, we don't have any childs. So we will not get anything. For the first child, for the TR, the first child TD, inside the TD, A is a descendant tag. So for the TR, A is a descendant tag. Now let us see how we can do this. Ancestor TR. So now currently we are focusing on the TR. So I want to get all the descendants for TR. So if you want to check what are the descendants are there, you can simply say slash type descendants. Just say descendant and descendant colon star. So star representing regular expression. Now we can see. So it is giving what are all the descendants we have this particular ancestor tag. So when I say star, it is representing all the TD tags because they're all descendants of this particular tag. Okay. And so I just use one tag name called TD, and still it is identifying the 5 elements. So when I say descendants, observe this guys. So when I say descendant, when I say star here, right, it is seven elements it is giving. So when I say descendant star means for this particular TR, how many descendants are total? 7 elements are matching. So in the first TD, there is an anchor tag. So this is a value. In the second TD, third, fourth, and fifth TD also we have some value here. So what is the descendant means? Child and grandchilds. So for the TR, TD is a first child. Okay, and for the TR, this is a first child. Inside the TD, there is one more tag is also. So this is called grandchild. So this is also comes under descendant. And if you just come down here, the last TD, this is also descendant. Inside this, there is one more element. This is also descendant. So we captured all these elements. Totally 7 elements it is giving. Okay. So when I say this one, so when I say star, that's no problem. I can say TD. So now when I say only TD descendants I want. So then it will show you only TDs. You can see only TDs it is captured. Descendant of TDs. So when I say descendant means actually child and grandchilds. But here I specially say only TD tag. So that's the reason we capture only the child descendants, but it is not captured inside the inside descendants. So when I say this one, so let me capture this. So you can still use star also. So star means it will give you all the descendant childs along with the grandchilds. Now let me capture this, and it is again returning multiple web elements. So what I can do is I'll just try to capture everything. So driver dot find elements I have to use because the XPath is matching with more than one element. So find elements, and here I'll say by dot XPath, specify that XPath dot. Okay, so I'll just store these elements in a variable. Okay, and the return type is, these are all descendant nodes. So I can just create one variable called descendants. And what is the type of this variable? So because this is returning multiple web elements, so to store multiple web elements in a variable, we have to say list of, here I'll say web element. So this is a return type. Now I want to find how many are there. So here descendants dot, I can say size. So this will give you exactly how many descendants are there. So I'll say system dot out dot println, and here I can say number of descendant nodes, and then I'm printing this value. Right, so this is how we can get the descendants. If you specify specific tag name, so whichever the tag name is matching, all the nodes will be written. When I say star, which will return all the descendants of this particular tag. All right, so now let us run this descendant, run as Java application. Okay, so I'm just closing the page now. So now we got 7 nodes. So number of descendants are 7 nodes. Okay, so every time I'm closing my page after completion of execution, so to avoid that, I can use one command called driver.close. So this command will close the browser automatically after execution is completed. Okay, so now we have seen descendants. Let me write the nodes also, and here self is nothing but select the current node,
and parent is select the parent of the current node, and this one child, select all the children of the current node, and ancestor, select all the ancestors, parent and grandparents, and descendant. So descendant means select all the descendants, includes children and grandchildren of the current node. Okay, so now we'll see one more. We have seen ancestor, descendant. Now following and following sibling. Let's say following. So what is following means? So following means it selects everything in the document after the closing tag of the current node. So what does that mean? Is select everything in the document after the closing tag of the current node. So here our current node is this one. So this is considering as a self node now. So after this node, whatever is tags are available, all are comes under the following nodes. Okay, all are comes under the following nodes. And what is a preceding means? From the child node, whatever the tags are there above this node, they're all consider the preceding nodes. Following and consider. Okay, so now let us get the following node of the current node. All right, so for that, what I'm going to do is here, let us start from the self node. So I'm just removing this XPath. So currently we are here. So in this, okay, so from this, I'm just want to get following nodes. So what are the following nodes from this element? What are the nodes are following? These are all comes under following nodes. Let us check what are the following nodes are available for this node. So if I just slash, I'll say following. When I say following, right, colon, just simply say star. If you don't know what are the following nodes are available, you say star, then it will show you what are the following nodes are available. So when I say star, so there are so many following nodes are there. See this from this element, these are all comes under the following nodes till end of the document. So these are all the comes under the following nodes. Okay. Now I don't want to retrieve all the following nodes. So what I can do is I just want to go to ancestor tag. Okay. I need to go to the ancestor tag. And from there, I want to capture all the following nodes. Okay. So instead of directly using following, I'm just first go to ancestor tag. So I'll say here colon, ancestor, colon. So TR is my ancestor. So now I go to transistor. So I'm here now. So from this, I just want to get all the following nodes. So again slash, I'll say following, colon. And when I say star now, observe this, it is giving 2087 elements. But I don't want to get all the following nodes. I just want to get only the TRs and say only TR. So now we got a 245 elements. So totally 245 TR tags are available, which are following nodes of this TR, not the self element. So because we have already navigated to the ancestor, that is your TR, from there I'm getting all the following nodes. So now we can see from after this node, you will get all the following nodes in the form of TRs. So these are all following nodes. Similarly, we can get the preceding nodes. Preceding nodes means above the self element. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are all preceding elements. Now let us try this first. I'll copy this. I'm writing the XPath. So driver dot find element by dot XPath, right? And I want to capture all of them in a variable. And this is again returning multiple web elements. So I'm just using find elements and store them in a variable. So these are the following nodes. I'll say following nodes. And I can specify this as list of web element. All right. And then I can just find out how many are there. So following nodes dot size, which will give you how many following nodes we have for that element. System dot out dot println. So I'm just printing the following nodes. Okay, now I can just write some message also. Number of following nodes. All right.
So let's try to execute. So after execution is completed, my browser will automatically close. Yeah. So now we can see 245 is written here. So the number of following nodes for this particular node. So what are the following nodes here means from this ancestor, these are the following nodes. Okay. So this is how we can use following. So now let us try to use following sibling. So there is one more called following sibling. Okay, so following sibling. So what is following sibling means? So when I say following, right? So I can just go here. So when I say following here, it is giving only the TRs. So these are the following nodes. So instead of following, when I say following hyphen sibling, siblings, okay, plural. So here I'll say TR following hyphen sibling, right? It is not plural, guys, just a following hyphen sibling and slash here. Now we'll see, enter. See this 243 elements. So following hyphen sibling. So inside the following, if I say only following, how many nodes it is returning? It is returning 245. So 245 nodes are returning. So among in 245 nodes, so some TRs, okay, some TRs having some siblings also. Inside the following, we have a siblings. So if you want to capture this, you can say following hyphen as a sibling and slash slash TR. Okay. So when I say here, now we'll get only 243 elements. So only 243 elements. So inside the following elements, again, it will check the sibling elements of this current node. So we can just use this again here. Driver dot find element. We'll see more examples on guys. So hold on. So driver dot find element and by dot XPath, say sibling, again I'm storing them, and this is again returning multiple web elements. So I'm just saving find elements, and this is following siblings. I say following siblings, and the type of this variable is list of web element. Okay, and now I can just find out how many are there. So here I'll write a print statement. Say system dot out dot println, and here I'll say following siblings. So number of following siblings dot I say size. So this will give you how many web elements I have stored in this variable, and then semicolon. So this is following siblings. So now let us run this. So again, following siblings will be captured from the following nodes itself. Okay, in the following nodes itself, we have a following siblings. Okay, now we can see number of following siblings are 243. So total number of following nodes are 245. Inside this only there are two nodes, like 243 is the following siblings among this. And for that element, okay, for this ancestor node, siblings, following siblings are 243 and only following are 245. All right, so similarly, we can also find preceding and preceding siblings. So what is the following means? Following means after this element, whatever nodes are following, these are all following and following siblings. So what is preceding and preceding siblings means? Preceding means the above elements. So from this self node, what are the other elements we have the above this node? They are all comes under the preceding elements. And if there is any element which contains some sub element, they are comes under the preceding elements. So now let us capture preceding elements and preceding sibling elements, both. So here let me write XPath. So first let us go to the ancestor node. So till here, and we are in TR ancestor node. So from there I'm using preceding and say preceding colon colon and say star. So star means it will just give you a number, how many preceding nodes we have. So totally 190 preceding nodes. Just observe this. We have started from here. So above this node, whatever the elements we have, all are selected here. So preceding means the above elements. And when I say preceding star means it is capture everything, but I want to get only the TRs, okay, preceding nodes. So simply you can say TR, then it will give you the preceding nodes which are having only TR tag. So these are the preceding nodes. So let's capture this XPath and then write it here. So what is the preceding means? Select all nodes that appear before the current node in the document. So this is the XPath we have to use. Say driver dot find element by dot XPath, and here this is also giving multiple elements. So I'm using find elements and store those elements in a variable. I'll say list of web element, and the type of variable, this is a preceding element, so I'll say precedings, and now I want to count them. So to count them I can simply say precedings dot size. So this will count how many precedings are there, and I can print system dot out dot println. I can say print. So these are the preceding elements. You can say number of preceding elements, or we can say preceding nodes. All right, so now we got the preceding nodes. So similarly we can also get the preceding sibling nodes. So when I say preceding TR, we got all the rows above this element. So now when I say preceding hyphen sibling, okay, and then we got only 5 elements. So that means this is the header part is removed here now, because preceding means preceding TR means we got including header. So this is also preceding of the current node. And when I say preceding sibling means among the precedings inside the preceding nodes, it will find the siblings for this element and then it will return. So preceding hyphen sibling, and for the same element it is returning 5 elements. Now capture this, and here this is XPath. So first of all, let me show you preceding sibling. So what is a preceding sibling means? Select all siblings before the current node, and this is the XPath I have to use. So here I'll say driver dot find element by dot XPath, specify the XPath. So we should not write in multiple lines, guys. So this is the ending tag, okay, and then semicolon. So this will return multiple web elements again. So I'm using find elements. Then we store them in a variable. So this is preceding siblings. So I'll say preceding siblings, and the type of variable should be list of web element. Okay, and then I want to find how many elements we have. So dot size, so which will give you the size of preceding element, preceding siblings element. So I'll say system dot out dot println, and here I'll say number of preceding sibling nodes. That's it. Okay, so now here we are getting only preceding nodes, and here we are getting only preceding sibling nodes. So let's run this code again. Okay, so now done. So here the number of preceding nodes are 6, the number of preceding sibling nodes are 5. Okay, so this is how we can just use XPath access to locate any element, but we have to start from one node. From that we can extract any other node. So we can traverse throughout the DOM by using this XPath access. XPath access in the sense in all angles. So we can navigate throughout all the angles in the DOM and then we can get the elements. And most of the times guys, we use this access to locate multiple elements. If you want to capture multiple web elements and from the different locations of the web page, then we can use XPath access. Okay, so based on this understanding, we will see some more examples. And let's go to the applications now. And let me just close this. Now I will show you a few more examples. And for this XPath access. So here, the first one is just a moment. So here I have one hands-on. So find the sign up page button from the registration form present in the Facebook application. So let us try to open the Facebook application. Let me show you Facebook. So this is a URL which I have opened. And inside this, what I'm going to locate. So now let's see the statement here. So find the sign up button. So we need to find the sign up button. Okay. We need to locate the sign up button from the registration form present in the Facebook application. So if I just look at here, I'm saying about registration form. So this is a registration form. So this is a whole form. And let us consider that form is a parent. And inside this, these elements are present. Okay. And now I want to locate the sign up element. So here I'll use child access. So by using child access, I want to locate the sign up from the form, from this particular form. Okay. So let us try to inspect this element first. Okay. So I'm just locating this form and click on this and go to grow path. Now we can see some form here. So let me just inspect the form properly. Okay, so this is basically a registration form. You can find some locator here. And this is reg box. Now you can see here, there is a one node appearing here. Inside this, all the web elements are available. So div ID equal to regex, registration box, and registration redesign and XPath. So this is exact element which is pointing to the form. Okay. So inside this form, there are so many elements we have. So inside this form, there are div tags. There are so many div tags are there. Okay. And we have to capture this sign up element. So we have to capture the sign up element. And inside this div, there is one more form, guys. So here you can see this is one more form. Inside the div tag, we can have one more form here. So we can consider this. So we have to consider this as a self node. So from this, we'll start. So for this node, so this is the XPath. Observe this carefully. So this is an XPath. So this XPath is exactly pointing to the one matching element. So this is your form. So from there, I want to access the sign up button. Okay. So if I just look at in this form, there are some input fields are there. So this is first input, second input, div, and this is another input. There are multiple things are there. So from this form, if I just say colon child, colon and say star, now observe this. So how many elements it is giving? 32 element, 32 exactly it is matching. Okay, so 32 elements are matching. So inside the form, we have all the elements. So this is input. I think this form is a different, guys. Just hold on. Let me try this regex form box. Yeah, let's try it from here. Okay, this is actually this one. So this is a XPath we have to write. Start from here. Okay, so this is the form, guys. Inside the form, there are so many div tags are there. These are the child elements. Now you can see this is the first name and last name. This is the mobile number. This is a new password, and rest of the fields which are available in the form is representing each and every tag. So these are the child elements. So the form is a reg form box, ID equal to reg form X. This is a parent element. So we are starting from this. So this I am considering as a self element. So currently we are representing the form. So inside this, I'll say slash child colon star. Now observe this. So when I say child colon slash, it is identifying all the child elements. So totally how many child elements we have? 10 child elements we have. Okay, 10 child elements we have, and all the child elements are having div tags. So now I need to capture the sign up element. So now we need to find out which element it is. So every element is representing with the div tags here. So instead of star, when I say div here, okay, so again it is matching 10 elements. Now there are multiple div tags are there. So in which div tag our sign up button is available. So if I just put the cursor in each and every div tag, it is highlighting the element. Now you can see when I put my cursor in the last div tag, it is highlighting sign up button. So now I need to capture this div tag. So which element it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in the 10th div tag, I can find sign up button. So here I'll pass the index number called 10. Now it is exactly pointing to the sign up. Okay, so again inside the sign up. So this is last div tag. If I expand this last div tag, again we have a button tag inside. So I can say slash button. Now this is exactly pointing to the sign up button. So this is the way we can locate this element by using child access. So this is purely customized XPath case. Okay, we should be familiar with writing XPath. Now this particular XPath is exactly pointing to the sign up button. So this is solution for this example. Okay, so here we have used child. Now let me show you one more example. So on the same Facebook application, locate first name field from the sign up button in Facebook. So in the reverse order. So now I'm showing you reverse order. So from the first name field, locate first name field from the sign up button. Again go to the same form from the sign up button. Now the sign up button is a self element. So from this we have to locate the first name field. So we have to navigate from here. We have to start from here. From there we have to identify the first name. So now what is the self element? Sign up is a self element. Now let us see how we can locate the first name element by using sign up element. So first let us start with the sign up. So for the sign up, so this is a XPath. So directly specify this. So now we are in the sign up. So this is a button. And from there, we have to locate the first name element. Okay. So here we have to use a parent. So from this self node, first we need to go to the parent tag. So from this self node sign up, what is the parent of this? The form is a parent. In the previous example, first we have identified the form, then we come to the child element. So now sign up is a node which is child element. From this, form is a parent element. So how we need to navigate now? So first we need to navigate from here to form. So let us say this is a complete form. So first we need to go to the form, that is our parent element. From that particular form, again we have to use a child to locate this element. So this is exact navigation. Okay. So now let us go to the parent tag. So here I'll say slash, I'll say parent. Okay, so slash parent colon star. So when I say parent colon star, it is highlighting this box. So because for this button, this div is a parent. So for this button, this div is a parent. Now for this div, what is a parent? This is a form is a parent. So we need to use one more parent, slash parent slash star. Now observe. So now it is highlighting the form. Okay. So parent, and again we go to another parent. So parent slash parent. So now it is highlighting the complete form. So now we reach it till the parent. Now inside this form, we need to find out the first name element. Okay. Inside this form, we need to find out the first name element. Now let us find out what are the child elements we have in this form. So from there, I'm using child colon star. Now these are the child elements we have in this form. And which element we need to identify? The first name we have to identify. The first name we have to identify. So inside the child, so all these elements are present inside the div tags only. So what I can do is here I'll say only div. So still it is able to find all the child elements. Now in which div tag our first name is present, in which div tag our first name is present. And if I just look at here, from the form, the first tag, so div of 1, okay, and if I say div of 1, it is highlighting. Inside this there is one more div here, okay, so again slash one more div. Now it is highlighting two elements, first name and surname, and inside this there is a two div tag. We need to go to the second div tag, and if you expand this, here there are two div tags. In the second div tag, our surname and first div tag first name is present. So here inside the div tag I say div, and now it is pointing to two elements, first name and surname. Now which element we need? Only first name we need. So here I can pass index as 1. Then it is able to find first name element. Okay, so this is how we can just add access and we can navigate through elements. So here we can find the element. So from where we have started, from the sign up button we have started. From there we went to the first parent, and from there again we went to the main parent, that is a form. Inside the form we went to all the child elements, and again from the child elements we have navigated to multiple div tags. So 3 div tags we have. So finally here we found the first name element. Okay, so this XPath is exactly pointing to the first name. So this is a solution for this. So the combination of parent and child we can use. So different combinations of this access also we can use, depends upon your requirement. Okay, and now I'll show you one more example. On the same Facebook form, identify the password from mobile number field in the Facebook. So here let us use following. Identify the password from the mobile number field. So let's go here. So where is my password? So let me just remove the text path. Okay, so here my password element is there. So this is my password element. So this is considering as a self node now. So inspect this element, password. Just a moment. Okay, so let us inspect this password. So we are considering this password as a self node, and capture the text path and specify here. So we are starting from the password field. So by using this password field, I want to locate mobile number. So by using this password field, I want to locate the mobile number. Okay, now let us see how we can locate this by using this. Sorry guys, so identify the password. So we need to identify the password by using mobile number, So the XPath which we have to use is for mobile number. Let's capture this one. So because for mobile number, new password is a following field. For the new password, mobile number is a preceding field. Okay, so now let's start from mobile number. So this is my self node. From that I want to access new password element. So if I just look at what are the following elements we have for this mobile number, and for that I can say slash following : let's say star. So which is just representing what are the following elements. So for this new password, so for this mobile number, these are all following nodes. Whatever elements are highlighting here, these are all following node of the mobile number. But which following node which we need to access? New password. Okay, new password which you have to access. So here the new password tag name is input. So if I just look at here, so it is just giving input. So instead of star, I can simply say input. Now observe. So now it is highlighting new password. Okay, there is only one node which is having input tag, so it is highlighting new password. So by using this phone number field, mobile number field, we are able to access new password. This is a following node of mobile number. So this is the next path for that. So identifying the password from mobile number, and we use following here. Okay, so this is a XPath which you can write. And the next one, locate the mobile number by using password field. So this is a reverse on the same Facebook application. Locate the, previously we have identified the password by using mobile number, because of password is the following element of the mobile. And this time locate the mobile number from the password field. So now the mobile number is the preceding element of the password. Okay, so now the mobile number is the preceding element from the password. So let us start from the password now. So let us inspect this password, and this is a locator, and from the password I want to locate the mobile number. So mobile number is a preceding field. Okay, so now what I can do is I can simply say preceding slash preceding. So now I wanted to know what are the preceding nodes are available. Where's the star? So now we can see from the new password, so all of them are preceding nodes. So now which preceding node I want to get? So I'll say something called all are input boxes. So the tag name is input. I'll say only input. So now observe, there are 23 elements are there. 23 elements are there. But which element I want to capture here? So to capture this element, and let's pass some index numbers here. Let's say 1 here, it is pointing to some other element. When I say 2 here, it is exactly pointing to the mobile number. Okay, so from the password field, the next above element. So when I pass 2 is an index, so then it is exactly matching with the mobile number. So we have started from the password field, then we have got the preceding field, which is a mobile number. So this is a XPath of this element. Okay, so this is a one example. Okay, so this is how. So if I just go back to the third example, guys, so here we have done some mistake. So when I use this here, identifying the password from the mobile number. So when I use this XPath, it is highlighting 38 element, guys. So we need to find the password only. So for that, I'm just passing some index number, and then it is pointing to the only password. So one element is matching. So this is the right one. Okay, for the third example. All right, so now we have seen fourth one also. Now let us move on to the next one. So the next example is locate surname from female radio button in the Facebook. So this is another one. So we need to identify the surname from the female radio button in the Facebook. So here we can use ancestor. So here I have a female radio button. So from there, from the female radio button, I want to access surname. Okay, so now we'll see how we can do that. So first of all, what is the self element here? The female radio button is a self element. So first let us capture this. Now we got the XPath for the radio button and put it here. And then it will identify the female radio button. So from there, we have to access surname field. So we have to access the surname field. And if I just look at here, so these are all, this time I'm going to use ancestor. Okay, so here inside this input box we have, so these are all ancestors. So let us try to find what are the ancestors we have. Slash, say ancestor, colon, slash. So how many ancestors we have? So totally 16 elements are matching. So that means totally 16 ancestor elements we have. Okay, so again, if I just look at here, everything is in div tag only. All the ancestors are available inside the div tags. So instead of star, right, I'll say one div tag here. So now 11 elements are matching. If I say one div element, first index, it is matching. I don't see any element is matching, but it is giving one element matching. So when I say 2 here, so now we can see it is exactly matching the form. So from the radio button, we use ancestor, and when I say div of 2, which is exactly matching the entire form. So now we have reached till the form. So once you reach the till the form, we can easily find out these elements by using, either we can use child element or we can use directly the locator. So what I can do is div2 slash Again, we use a div tag, one more div tag. Now it is finding all the elements inside the form. We enter into individual elements. And again, we have a multiple div tags here. Okay, and when I say div of 1, now it is matching the only first name and surname. And among these two elements, again, I need to capture only the surname. So again, one more div. Now it is matching to, I can say div of 2 here. Then it is matching the one element. It is not giving properly, and say, I can say div of 1. 1 second. Let me remove till here. So it is pointing to first name and last name. Till here it is pointing to first name and last name. Okay, when I say div, and which element is, 2 elements are matching. I think this is still first name and last name. And again use one more div. So now individual elements are matching, first name and last name. So again, which element we need? Surname we need. So here pass index as a 2. Then we will get the surname. Okay, so from the radio button female, we are navigated to the form, and in the form again navigated to the individual elements, and then finally we found the surname. So ancestor and following the rest of XPath. So this whole XPath is exactly matching the surname. From the self node, which is radio button, we have started from here and identifying this node. So you have to practice this more, guys, because only through practice you will be familiar with this. And these are a little bit complex things. And once you start practicing, you will be familiar with this. Okay, so this is a example. And we can also write the same thing in different way. So instead of writing multiple div tags, guys, what we can do is we can just go to till this. Okay, and this will representing the form, right? So inside the form, surname is available. So once you reach this form, let us try to inspect directly the surname. And this is XPath of the surname, so that you can directly specify slash and specify this. That's it. And this will also able to locate the surname. So 0 element is giving. So let me just cross check once again. And div of 2, and it is pointing to the form. And the surname is having input is a tag name, right? So what I can do is, let's try to inspect the surname properly. Okay, so what I can do is I'll say slash input is a tag name, and 0 elements are matching. So ancestor colon div 2, and let it be this XPath till here. This is exactly pointing to the form. Now I want to capture XPath of the first name. Just copy this. 1 second. Okay, now I want to capture the XPath of the surname, and this is giving this XPath. Okay, now capture this and then pass it here. Okay, so now we can see one element is matching. So till here we reached the form from the radio button, and here you can directly use the XPath of this element. So this is also a right XPath by which we can locate the element. So this is also right. Okay, and now, so here you can use single slash and double slash, guys, but the relative XPath is always start from the double slash. In between you can use either single slash or double slashes, no problem. Okay, and now, so the next, see one more example. So let's go to the another page. So identify the search text box from the Google search button present in the Google search homepage. So now let us go to another web page, google.com. Okay, so here my requirement is, here Google search button is my self node. So from that I need to locate the search box. So I want to locate the search box from the Google search node. So Google search is my self node. So let us try to inspect this Google search. So now I got some XPath here. I'm using this XPath, which will identify the Google search. Okay, one matching element. So now I have identified the Google search element. So from there, I need to locate the search box element. So I think this is a parent tag. So here, the input is here. It is representing the input box, and it is above the Google search. Can there I say so many div tags are available. So let us see what are the parent. We use parent here to navigate above. So I can say slash parent colon stars. So now we can see how what is the parent is highlighting. So for the Google search, so this small form is there. So this is a parent. So we have reached till the parent. Now again, we use one more parent here. Parent slash colon again one more star. So now it is reached a little bit above and one more parent. And from there, again, I'm using one more parent. I'll say slash parent colon star. Now it is become a little bit bigger. So now this XPath till here, whatever XPath we have written, which is exactly matching in the entire form. Okay, 3 parents. And now this particular element, if I just copy this and inspect this search box, and the search box is exactly available in the input tag, right? Or you can just say identify the complete box. So which is available in the div tag. So now what I can do is here I can say slash div. So now you can see 2 elements are it is identified. The first element is a search box and second element is contains the multiple buttons. So I need to go for the first element here. So here I'll say 1. So now it is exactly highlighting the search box. Okay. So from the Google search button, we have navigated to parent, and finally we found the search box. So this is a way we can write XPath. So multiple XPath access also we can use within the single XPath. So this is a complete XPath. So the main advantage of XPath guys, XPath access guys, you can navigate to any element from anywhere. So throughout the DOM, you can navigate from anywhere to anywhere. So in all the directions, and we can find that element. Okay, so this is one example. And now we'll show you one more example. So let's go to this page, Amazon website. And these are all little complex XPaths guys. So we have to only practice, then only we'll understand this. All right, so now this is my page. In this page, what my requirement is. So identify today's deals. So this is, I think this small link here. And this is a link, today's deals, okay? I want to identify this link from the Amazon search text box. So first I need to identify the search text box, and here this is my self node. So from this, I will identify the today's deals. Okay, and here I'm using following access. So from the text box, I want to identify the today's deals link. Right, so now let us see how we can do this. So first of all, let us identify the search box. So this is my self node. Now inspect and go to the grow path, and now we captured some XPath here, and just specify here and locate the search box. So now this XPath is able to locate the search box. Okay, and from this I want to locate the today's deals. Now let us see what are the following nodes are available. Slash following colon else star. So now observe this. When I say following dot slash, it is located almost 2214 elements. So these are all following nodes of this particular search box. Okay, but among them, I want to exactly locate these today's deals, right? So what I can do is you can directly locate the today's deals and get XPath of the today's deals. And here instead of star, you can specify that XPath. And don't use dot slash here, colon followed by anchor tag. Okay, so now this XPath is exactly matching with this today's deals. So now when I press enter, now we can see it is exactly matching the today's deals link from the text box. So from the search box, we have navigated to today's deals. Okay, so this is the XPath you can write. All right, so here we have used following. Now let me show you one more example for the following. So in the same page, we have a hello sign in form. So here you can see something called So here I have sign in, right? So you can see sign in here. So I want to locate the sign in from the search box. So from the search box, we have located today's deals, right? So from the same search box, I want to locate the sign in. So this is also following element. So from like today's deals, sign in is also following element. Let me just show you, inspect this element, go to the grow path, and first get the XPath of this element and capture this. This is the XPath of the search element, search box element. Now, if you want to find what are the following elements, I can say / following : and star. So this will representing all the following nodes. Even in the sign in button here, this is also a following node. So I want to capture this one. So I want to locate this one, right? So now what I can do is I can just simply locate this element, sign in, and capture this XPath, and instead of star, keep that XPath, and remove the / because : always followed by tag name. Now which includes multiple XPaths. So now we can just enter. This will able to locate sign in link on the web page. Okay, so this is another XPath. And from the text box, from the search box, we have navigated to sign in using following access. So this is an example. Now at last we will see one more example, and here identify mobile link which is part of menu bar. So if I just look at here, I have some menu bar here. So we have multiple options: mobile, bestsellers, today's deals, and multiple options I have. So inside this menu bar, I have multiple elements. So these are all descendant elements. So by using descendant, I can just find out something called, let's say, mobiles. I want to find out these mobiles. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. Let's inspect that menu bar. Let us try to inspect the menu bar. Okay, menu bar in the sense, this is the menu bar highlightation. So I'm just highlighting the menu bar. And now if I just go to grow path, you got some XPath here. And this XPath is highlighting the menu bar. Okay, but it is not showing in the web page. But I think this is a hidden element. So no problem. You can say one element is matching. So this XPath is exactly matching this menu bar. Now inside the menu bar, I want to locate mobiles. Okay, and this is descending. So let me just find out what are the descendant nodes we have, and I'll say : I'll say / descendant : star. So now we can see in the menu bar, when I say descendant star, it is highlighting all the elements. So among all these elements, I want to locate mobiles. This element I want to locate. So inspect this mobiles and capture the XPath for that mobiles. And instead of star, I can say that element, that XPath, along with the anchor tag. Now enter. This will able to locate this mobile element. So we have started from the menu bar, and then we have highlighted all the elements, and then we have find out a single web element, that is mobiles. So this is another XPath. So this is a XPath which we have used, descendant. Okay, so this is how we can use all XPath access methods to locate the elements on the web pages. And especially we prefer to use this XPath if you have a very complex pages like Amazon like this. And in this case, in this type of pages, it is very difficult to find out the elements by using normal locators like ID or name or CSS locators. And sometimes even by using normal XPath also, we are not able to locate the elements. So in those cases, we can use this XPath access to locate those elements. Okay, so here we are indirectly locating the element, guys. So here we are not straightforward here. Suppose if I have some element here and there are two elements, if I want to locate this element, for example, so for this element, I don't find any ID or name. I don't have anything for this element, but still I want to find this element. Then what I can do, I can just find some nearby element, which is having some attribute or something or XPath. And from this element, I can locate this element. So this indirectly we are identifying this element, not straightforward. Okay, so in all the angles we can find whether this is a descending element of some other element, or is this the following element of some other element, or is it a preceding element of some other element. We need to check, and accordingly we can use some proper XPath axis and we can locate this element. If this element doesn't have any attributes, by using just a tag name we can identify this element. Okay, so this is how we can use XPath access to locate elements on the web pages. And these are our important thing, but little advanced stuff. Okay, so especially while working with the complex web pages, you can use this XPath access along with the normal XPath. Normal XPath is different, and XPath with access is different. Okay, so that's all for XPath access locators.